What's going on? It's Alexander here, back with some more Dragon Age Inquisition.
There are spirits hovering by the veil to observe the thrones of powerful nations, the machinations, betrayals. After our time in Halam Shiral, I understand why. I had forgotten how I missed court intrigue.
I'm pleased you had a good time.
Political gambits, broken promises, half-truths. It is a palace full of motivation, and motivation is where great things happen. In any event, Celine should now be a steadfast ally, especially after helping her neutralize Briala.
I didn't. They all work together, right?
I hope you know that I didn't turn over Briala lightly. If I'd had another option...
What? Why would I disapprove of... Oh, because we're both elves. I'm sorry, I was confused. I do not consider myself to have much in common with the elves.
Honestly...
Nor should you. You're not defined by the shape of your ears. They're not your people.
No, they are not. I joined the Inquisition to save the world. Regardless of who my people are, this was the best way to help them. As for the elves of Orlais, I believe Briala is doing quite well on their behalf. She is an admirable woman.
She's done good work. Hopefully, with our help, she can help them even more.
Yes. However much I identify, or fail to identify, with her people, Briala's efforts have been remarkable. She organized resistance against a powerful enemy, using only her wits and the resources at hand. That demands respect, especially in a world where most would look at her and only see a pair of pointed ears. Good afternoon.
Okay, that's new.
I'd be interested in hearing your opinions on elven culture.
Perhaps you could ask Sarah. She has opinions.
You don't much care for Sarah, do you?
I pity her. Although I imagine she would detest that. Perhaps in truth, I envy her. She has a purity of purpose that I lack. I have observed too much and done too little. What do you wish to know?
I'd like to know more about the elves from before our time.
The Dalish strive to remember Halam Shiral. But Halam Shiral was merely a fumbling attempt to recreate a forgotten land.
Arlathan.
Elvanan was the Empire, and Arlathan its greatest city. Place of magic and beauty, lost to time.
You've studied ancient elves. What else do you know of Arlathan?
We hear stories of them living in trees, and imagine wooden ramps or Dalish aerovels. Imagine instead spires of crystal twining through the branches, palaces floating among the clouds. Imagine beings who lived forever, for whom magic was as natural as breathing. That is what was lost.
I'd like to know more about the Dalish elves.
It is a mistake to think of the Dalish as a single group. They have lived as separate clans for centuries now. As a consequence, each clan has learned, interpreted, and forgotten different parts of elven history. Some trade freely with humans, or adopt city elves who flee the alienages. Others attack humans on sight.
What can you tell me about elves living in human cities?
The culture in alienages or among the slaves of Tevinter is like any of the impoverished and powerless. They cling to memories of a better past, and practice a few rituals to distinguish themselves from humans.
Is elven magic different from the magic used by humans?
No and yes. Magic is magic, just as water is water, but it can be used in different ways. Dalish magic is more practical, not needing chantry approval, although they still frown on blood magic. Superstition. Much of it is more subtle. A legacy from when elves were immortal.
You do magic.
Legends of elven immortality. Did they use magic to increase their lifespan?
No. It was simply part of being elven. The subtle beauty of their magic was the effect, not the cause of their nature. Some spells took years to cast. Echoes would linger for centuries, harmonizing with new magic in an unending symphony. It must have been beautiful.
You said that the censure against blood magic was a superstition.
I did. It's fortunate Cassandra is not within earshot. Most modern cultures forbid blood magic. publicly, even Devinter disapproves of it. But as I said, magic is magic. It matters only in how it is used.
Agreed.
To be honest, I don't see it as different from any other magic. It's a means to an end.
Indeed. The problem is that under the Chantry, blood magic is forbidden, so only criminals practice it. While in Tevinter, magisters compete with each other, instead of keeping their volatile friends in check. They always succeed through power, so they have never had the chance to learn another way.
We'll talk later.
Goodbye. My friend,
I'd like to hear more about what...
I would be happy to share.
Okay, let's see. I don't recognize
Tell
these.
me about the old ruins you explored.
I found the ruin of Barandur, a lost Tevinter city buried deep beneath a dead and barren wasteland. Volcanic ash had sealed it tight. In one dark moment, every living creature in the city seared and smothered. They were statues in the ashes, like a mold made to recall the lost.
Tell me about a spirit you encountered.
I met a friendly spirit who observed the dreams of village girls as love first blossomed in their adolescence. With subtlety, she steered them all to village boys with gentle hearts, who would return their love with gentle kindness. The matchmaker, so I called her. That small village never knew its luck.
Tell me about the old memories you found in the Fade.
I saw a savage human horde go marching toward the battlefront. They sang a soldier's hymn to keep formation. Primal music shook the ground. These savage, unwashed warriors carried harmonies no Chantry choir has mastered. Though their cause was all but hopeless, they sang songs that made the spirits weep.
We'll talk later.
Goodbye. How can I help?
I'd like to hear more about what you saw in your exploration of the...
I would be happy to share it with you.
Okay, so these are just repeatable. So probably have heard those before when we talked to them the last time.
Marvelous business, the Winter Palace. You saved an empress, and now she's eating out of your hand. Perfect mental image. All this dancing, politics, and murder makes me a bit homesick.
Happy to oblige. A taste of home just for you.
Not just for me. Fun for the whole family.
Perhaps I should have invited some.
We were there. That's what counts. I hope you tried the ham they were serving, by the way. Tasted of despair. It's fascinating.
I should go.
Try not to kill anyone without me.
Again, no promises.
Here we are again.
Fiona, anything new?
Again, Inquisitor.
I trust everything is well with the mages.
Most are pleased with the Alliance, even if we wonder what will happen next.
Yeah, all that's still the same.
Inquisitor,
What is your evaluation of how we're doing?
I am able to pursue my duties with optimal efficiency, thanks to Skyhold's present state.
As you were.
Yes, Inquisitor.
I know he's gonna be like, oh, we have whatever copies or whatever.
So it's true. Some look to Cassandra or even me as Justinia's successor. I never thought the idea would gain momentum. Of course, with the other candidates out of the picture...
Is becoming divine something you really want?
When Justinia was alive, I would have laughed at anyone who even suggested that I could be her successor. Things have changed. Still, I don't know. Restoring the Chantry will be like trying to steer a sinking vessel through a storm.
Whoever becomes divine will have my support if she requires it.
And I'm sure whoever becomes divine will absolutely require the Inquisition's backing. The Chantry is faltering, but it still has influence over the people. Who tells the people what's right? Who do they look to in times of peril? A divine with enough support can change the Chantry. And with it, Thedas. But this is a discussion for later. If Corypheus wins, finding a new divine will be the least of our problems. I'm listening.
You seem to know a great many people.
I have made friends, and on occasion enemies. It's unavoidable.
What do you know of Morrigan?
She's changed. She used to be so disagreeable, cruel. She said things just to hurt people.
Yeah.
Now the sharp edges have worn away. Perhaps it was scary. He seems so normal, like any other little boy. And so polite. Not that I was expecting anything else. I mean... never mind.
We can continue this conversation later.
You know where I am. At your service, my lord.
Anything I should know?
Celine has cemented power in Orlais. Good, we need an ally like her. At the moment, she's said to be rooting out the last of Gaspard's supporters. Once that is done, we will have a united Orlais behind the Inquisition.
Anything I should know?
I've nothing to report at the moment.
I'll leave you to your work.
Inquisitor?
See,
I'll leave you.
there's supposed to be a thing about, I think it's the Venatori, to get the first of Liliana's quest so we can start supporting her towards being the next divine. I'm wondering if something didn't glitch out, because that would be about my luck. We're going to speak with Morrigan last. But we've got a lot of stuff to talk to her about.
I do not believe a reminder is necessary for this accused. Her capture and disgrace could not have been more public. Grand Duchess Florian de Chalon, although her titles are among the dignities already at risk of forfeiture. You spared her life despite her treachery. What becomes of it now falls to you.
Empress Celine left her fate to me. Interesting.
Despite her posture, Lady Florian has acknowledged your authority.
Should I curse you on behalf of the Elder One? I realize he had no intention of honoring the concordats I manipulated. Do as you must. I respect your mastery of the game, even as I despise your victory. Celine does not know her fortune.
The cloister put her guile to work for us.
Like most nobility, she's never walked in the shoes of those she endangered. Lady Florian, I give you a chance. Common work, farm work. Do some good.
Sentenced to walk with animals? How droll.
Seemed fitting. I do not remember how to get back to Vivian, so we're probably going to completely ignore her.
How bracing to be in the thick of the game again. The last time I was at Alam Shiral was Countess Letienne's wedding. There were a dozen affairs, 5 secret alliances, and a duel between 2 chevaliers over the vintage of an Antivan port. But until the Duchess was unmasked, I've never seen the Winter Palace in shock.
At least they weren't bored. At least they weren't bored.
No one can say the evening wasn't memorable.
They've already begun composing songs about it in Val Royale, no doubt. The game's become increasingly insular in the past few years. Corypheus skillfully took advantage. It's disturbing so few people in the Orlesian court were aware of the Duchess's machinations.
You're selfish a lot. Yeah.
You'd think the game's greatest players would spot a murderer in their midst.
As I said, insularity. Familiar rivals become the only ones worth sparring with.
But let's not lose sight of victory. Your actions at the ball have secured us allies and favors alike.
My favorite moment of the evening is still our waltz in the garden.
I could have danced with you for hours. We must do it again sometime. It's good to see you.
No supply. Okay.
What do the people make of us?
We've gathered many favors among the nobility. They will be gently reminded of this.
Let's speak later.
Farewell.
Alright. Let's quickly go to the war table to get people going with all these again. And then we'll continue talking with everyone. Ginny attends a party. How do I best describe it? Our noble target was angered by the distraction of our soldiers and, in an attempt to regain attention, accidentally stabbed our revered mother in the head. So now Red Ginny is the assumed benefactor, but we have received several propositions from witnesses to the event. My Lord Inquisitor, considerable as your support has been, I'm saddened to report my motion died on the Senate floor, although I am hardly surprised. The Ministerium didn't enjoy the thought of having their freedom limited in any fashion. It was, however, hardly the point of the motion. It was a statement that needed to be made, and your support allowed me to make it far louder and clearer than I ever would have on my own. So I thank you. With any luck, this will draw support from those who feel as I do. It will also draw fire from Vendatory cultists still in the shadows, but I say, let them come. I will not back down in the face of such fools. I'm sending along a few things which I hope will aid your efforts, and we'll see what more I can drum up. Give my love to Dorian. The poor boy is such a hothouse orchid. He must be wilting in the cold. Magister Maverus Talani. And Inquisitor, I have no idea what to say. Scholars have debated whether Tyrda's legendary axe was an axe set with crystal, so magically reinforced crystal in head, or perhaps even just a very polished axe, but apparently the word translated from the ancient language commonly taken to be axe, in fact, merely means hafted weapon. It is possible that translations of the saga have been edited to omit evidence that Tyrda Bright Axe may have been using what seems, from all appearances, to be a staff, as would more commonly be used by a mage. I apologize for my confusion in this matter. I will endeavor to be more diligent in my translations in the future. Your sister Dorcas Gorin. Hopefully I pronounced that right. Alright, what do we do here? Dragon slaying. Word is spread about the dragon, the Inquisitor killed. Note passed on to Josephine. Tell me you sent soldiers to collect the grisly remains. I was clamoring to see the head up close. I should have anticipated this. Gawking is for peasants, but it becomes civilized when done with a glass of wine in one hand and a fan in the other. Another from Varel and Heron. My associate Wade is known throughout Thetis for his talent at capturing the glory of the Draconic in the armor he makes. Scarcity of dragon scale means that Wade is all too rarely afforded the chance to work in his chosen medium, but here's the solution. Shares his expertise with the Inquisition in exchange for the Some Wade's talent is undeniable.
Inquisitor.
Deadlock.
Let us begin.
Be a good one. Purge resources, dwarven slaves, and Vendatory hands. Forward scouts, sightings in the north of Red Templars with armor and weapons adorned with maroon. No, I had no interest in the deep roads in that area. No missives from Orzammar about missing traders. They keep next to non-existent records of service stores. The Vendatory may be making use of dwarven slaves, possibly from Deventer. Little preferences, but also not the first unusual thing they have done. Recommended further investigation and force. On the Vendatory, they are too willing to sacrifice their captives. It's a Vendatory. Hang on, play. Most likely that's where we're going to send Liliana. See some news from Avers. Seems her little resistance to strong support, just as Hoped it would. The thing is that support comes in the form of idealistic magistrates with no real power. The ones who might see her, no real power, ones who might see her group as a threat are the true heavy hitters. Reading between the lines, I'd say Maris is in more hot water than she lets on. She's crafty, but she could use more help right about now. They might die on the vine, up to you, but if you ask me, any members of Ventori should be friends of ours, Dorian. Alright, I'm going to end this here. In the next one, we'll see what we're going to be doing. But yeah, thanks for watching and see you then.